Hello and welcome to Wild West Garage. My name's Morgan and we're standing in front of the 1950 Chevy cab again. And so you can see that shiny metal on the top of the top corner of the cab there. So there was some rust issues on this lip here where the windshield goes in. And there was also some pretty significant rust inside the cab on the header. So in this video I'm going to show you how to make this part, and I'm going to address this rust issue here on the lip as well. So one thing about these old vehicles, and any vehicle really, is there's kind of a nice little spot up here for nests. So either a rodent or a bird. Kind of looked like there was a bunch of moss up in here in this corner here. But over the years, you know, could have been a rodent, and you know they're always peeing, so it's just, you know, it's very acidic. So that's pretty common for rust to be up in these areas. And so anyways, so there's this obvious stuff here. So I'm gonna cut out quite a section of this, at least, you know, like an inch past this hole here. Initially anyways, to get a look at it a little better. And then there's a lead seam right here, and it's all kind of heaved out. So I'm going to melt that out of there too and just have a look at that, because I suspect that there's probably some rust in behind there. Obviously something pushed that out, so I can't just file that down and pretend it wasn't there. So this is kind of the last rust repair on this cab. You know, I still have to weld a bunch of the other stuff back together. But I'm leaving these lower cowl pieces off until I de-rust it. But yeah, so if you want to see how I made these parts and cab corners, got lots of videos on this cab, so you might want to check those out. So anyways, I'm going to cut this out and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so here's the main issue here. Exposed, got all that rotten metal out of there. And there's this hole here too. And there's another one right here. Go cutting out a big chunk of metal out of here. I mean, if I push around it, it's not, I've kind of pecked at this whole thing along here. It's not pushing in anywhere, so. I mean, where do you stop, right? So I'll get that. I'll make a piece for there now. It should be pretty easy. And get it stuck in there. Okay, I've got the blank cut out for that. So it's flat this way. This is just flat glass that goes in here. But it's a bit of a curve here, so I got to shrink, a little shrinking along this edge here. Well, the whole thing's curved a little bit, so I'll just hit it, sneak up on it here a little bit. too much on the end here. Too much right about there, I guess. Just gonna cut this off to length. Open it up a bit. Nicely now, just got to trim this outside edge. Too long on this side.
Of course, this is going to affect the shape of it, trimming this.
Just going to open up this bend a little bit. It's a little tight.
Taking a bit of a curve off the flat. I'm going to put a tack in there.
So give you a look at this. Went in there nicely. Got that little hole plugged up there. And then just gotta shade this light because it screws up the focus of the camera. And then that little hole there that I talked about before. So we're all good. Just a little grinding, and then I got to drill some holes for some plug welds. And then on the inside, big rust hole there, big rust hole there. So this whole end of this header here is rotted out. There, it's off. Woo. Okay, I'm gonna make a paper pattern. I know when it was in the truck, I didn't want to try and make the pattern in the truck, but now that I got it out on the bench, it's going to be really easy to do that. I'm just cleaning this off because I want to tape the paper onto this in a couple spots, or 3 spots, so it doesn't move around. So what I'll do is just cut a little hole here. Oops. Can't believe the price of some of this booze. I'm glad I don't drink. Okay, the furnace has stopped. So maybe you can hear what I'm talking about. Okay, so you can see what I'm doing here. Just cutting some little holes so that I can stick this down to the piece. That way it's not going to move around. I'm going to get an accurate reading on this thing. Yeah, I guess because it's kind of rocking. It's trying to go in too many different directions here, so it'll be interesting when I start shaping it. Of course, paper doesn't stretch or shrink, so from here, so see this difference here? I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's about 1/4 inch difference here. So what I do is I start here, I'll make a line here, and then I'll draw out like this to kind of mirror that. So that'll indicate to me that I need to move that out that much on the template. So the same thing over here. I'll just draw this out like that. And that's my code for more metal. I always make my pattern or my blanks a little big anyways, just in case. Sometimes I make the pattern a little bit too big too, but yeah, and then you can just sneak up on the finished size after. So, I'll cut out a blank. I think I'm going to start from this edge right here. I'm going to scribe a line on this, which I'm just going to plant this together. Scribe this. It's deceiving because I think as soon as I make that bend, that whole thing's going to move over this way. This piece is going to move over, so I don't want to end up short on this side. So, that looks good. I'm going to use this to draw the line where I want to bend it. It's not straight. So I can't bend that yet. I gotta do this. I gotta do this bend first. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to get. If I bend this first, I won't be able to get to this bend. Yeah, this isn't. So this is a pretty. I don't know. I'm finding this challenging, just thinking about how I'm going to do it. This file is about exactly the same width as this. No, maybe not. It kind of tapers off. keeping that. Make it a little tighter here. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use this for my line. Kind of goes straight off the end there. And it really softens up. Bend ends right there. Right up the end of the line. So good. I want to break this before I get the new one made. So now I've got to come. Of course, this is all on the wrong side forming. I want to use a power tool, that is a bead roller, to do it. Yeah, I'm just going to keep laying it out. I can keep it to the other side somehow.
About 1.5 inches wide there, that face.
kind of faking it.
Probably a little bit more than I needed, but fix that. So, move this, connect the dots.
So now that I got this marked, I'm just gonna knock these little dimples down. So got my one and only beading die on the top, and then the skateboard wheel on the bottom. So a couple things are gonna happen when I do this. It's going to, yeah, because this is curved, this piece is a little bit curved. So when I tip this edge up, it's going to want to curve the whole piece this way, which is opposite to what I want to do. And when I tip this edge up, it's going to want to curve the panel the right way, the way I want it to go. But for the most part, the thing's going to go like this, opposite to what I want. So then I'm going to have to planish this out, or expand this, open it up by just hammer and dolly or whatever, just hitting it with a hammer to stretch it, and then it'll go to the shape that I want. But anyways, I'm gonna tighten this up a little bit. I tried it on a scrap piece, and it's breaking it, so not quite as much as I needed to, so I'm just gonna hit it a little harder. See that, that's gonna be okay. If it'll go in there, I think it will. It's pretty grippy with that wheel. And it's kind of going like this. It's going like, well, I should have expected that, but it's going like that because it's going into the soft. Anyways, I'll have to hammer and dolly it. I just want to form these lines, and this is the only way I have to do it. So. I'll probably go over this a second time. So now I'm coming up to this fade that I got to do. So with this first pass, I'm probably just going to run into it a little bit, like 3/8 of an inch or so. And I'm going to turn this right down and just bump it a little bit, back it off, bump it, back it off, just keep backing it off. backed it off too much. Just faded a little too abruptly there. So I'll reverse it, crank the pressure up as I go out. Speed it up a bit. Somebody's coming in. So you see this thing it's bending completely opposite to what I want. I want it to go this way, not that way. So like I said, I'll have to do some expanding on these facets of the part, get it to curve this way. Anyways, I still got to put more shape in this, so I'll keep going here a little bit more. Maybe crank this down a little tighter. It's starting to hit on the sides now, so probably, yeah. I'm going to switch to a different top die to tighten it up. It's contacting on the shoulder here now. I'm gonna have to make some more tooling for this machine. Yeah, I'm not getting that marking anymore, so. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just grabbing the actual wheel itself, squeezing it. No, it sort of did something funny. It sort of wrinkled this all up. I guess it's because it's not going up against the flat. Yeah. Anyways, I'll deal with it. It'll work. I'm gonna keep going here. You got to do a bunch of hammer and dolly on this anyways to get it to curve. So by the time I do all that, it'll flatten that all out again. It's looking good. So now I got to get it to, you can see, it's not a lot of curve, but there's some. So we gotta get that to curve now. Of course, this side's not going to need as much because it's already trying to force it that way. So I think I just got to concentrate on this side. That's already starting to curve down here. Curves more aggressively on this end. kind of got dished here, so I want to. Sorry you can't see this, but I guess the middle section of this, like in between the bends, is kind of dished in. So I'm just trying to dome it up a bit. And now right here I'm just trying to bend that end piece where it flares out. Just trying to, it really curves there, so I'm just trying to stretch it a bit there. Pretty good until the end here. So I put a really low crown anvil in here. I just want to use it to try and bend this. That's something I think that's good enough. I kind of blend this transition right here a little bit. It's really starting to look like something. I think that's going to work. I'm going to make this other return bend here. Just got to go over the line. So I might have to shrink this now because it's coming into the middle of this, and it's going to be too much material there. Okay, you see that? See how these two angles match fairly well? And that doesn't. And then that's actually kicked up more. So if I open this up, that'll bring this out to match this better. And that'll soften that, it'll soften this bend here as well. So I gotta come up with a way to do that. You need a vise in here. Well, this will work. Still needs a bit more. So I don't know if you can see that, but there's kind of a shiny spot all along the top edge of this now. And so it is opening it up. So now I'm gonna hammer it on this side, this face, the edge of this face. And that should do what I want it to do. Okay, yeah, you can really see that has softened that up quite a bit. So now I have to bend this a little more. Well, it's got these little divots in here for the trim screws, so I'll have to do that too. I'm gonna shrink this flange a little bit. I think it's time to start fitting this into the truck. So I've got to make a couple of adjustments to this. So right here, there's a gap. See that? So I'm going to make a mark like this. And like this. So that'll tell me that this whole area has to tip in more, you know, kind of gradually tapers off. And then there's a bit of a gap right here too, but I think once I start putting that on, I can just push that up, but I am going to do the same thing here. And then there's also a gap right here. So I'm just going to go like this. So, and I also have to shorten this up a little bit, I think. But I won't do that until I got it kind of tucked up a little better. Got this end fitting nicely. So, yeah, this worked out pretty good so far. So there we go. It's fitting. I think it's fitting well enough now that I can weld it on. It's a little low all along here. It's kind of inside of this lip. I don't know if you can see. So when I cut this off, I didn't cut it right on the corner. I cut it downhill from the corner a little bit all along here. I didn't want to lose that corner. I thought it would be a lot easier to weld it on this front face here. A lot easier to grind it, get it smooth and everything. And left this with a bit of strength. So anyways, like I said, I think this is fitting well enough that I can go ahead and weld it on. I'll start here and I'll just tack it along here. Okay, so I'm starting to tack this thing in here. It's going well. I did screw up a little bit here. I trimmed this off a little too much. So I got a pretty wide gap here, but I can deal with that. It'll close up. It'll weld up. So anyways, it's looking good. And then I forgot to drill holes in here for the plug welding too. So I can do that now because this is kind of away from where it needs to go. So that's no problem. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. I'll put it on hyperspeed, get her done. There we go, the welding went pretty good. I think this area right here, where it curves down to the A-pillar, is a bit different shape than the original part was. I think it was a lot flatter. It seemed a lot flatter, it's still hot. It seemed a lot flatter here. So, but I don't know, I mean, it is what it is now. I think it turned out pretty good. it looks, once I get this ground down, it'll look really good. All right, this is what we've all been waiting for. There it is, finished. So only issue I can see here is, I guess right here there was a dent right about here, and I didn't straighten this out properly beyond the dent. So there's a bit of a transition here. It's actually a dented in. I guess I could probably tug it out with a unispotter, but I might do that. But the rest of it looks really good. And then also, you know, I guess really what I should have done is cut it off completely past the dent, because there ended up being a hole here, like a rust hole, just a little like 1/8 inch hole that I poked it with my pokey thing, my awl focus, and so I had to weld that up. So hopefully, you know, then I went over and just really pecked at this quite a bit just to make sure there wasn't any more issues. So there we go. That looks pretty good. If I line up on it here, you can probably might be able to see that little hump there, the far end. See the little zigzag. But anyways, can all be fixed. All right. Well, that all went more or less according to plan. A few little, I guess, alterations along the way, and then that transition at the butt weld. But anyways, can all be fixed. I'm not going to do any more on this in this video. I think it's already long enough. So anyways, thanks for watching, and you know, don't forget to, if you've been here before and you're going to come back and you're not a subscriber, why not subscribe? I've got 850 subs now, and you know, the magic number is 1,000. That's what everybody wants, so that's how I get paid. That'll really encourage me to keep going. You know, if you're enjoying the content, that'll encourage me to keep making it. So if you haven't pushed the sub button yet, please do. Thanks to everybody else that has done that already. Appreciate it. Thank you.